Your dog hasn't been acting like themselves, but you can't point to anything specific that's wrong. Welcome to The Dog Who Asked for More, a podcast for dog parents navigating the messy, complicated parts of life with dogs that no one really prepares you for. Each week, you'll hear honest, rounded conversations that help you understand your dog more clearly, feel less alone in the challenges you're facing, and strengthen the relationship you're building together. I'm Em, a dog mom, former vet tech, dog trainer, and canine nutritionist who works with overwhelmed dog parents who love their dogs deeply but feel stuck, burned out, or unsure what their dog actually needs. And today we're talking about food and how sometimes the problem isn't obvious because it doesn't always look like a clear issue. It looks like little things. Your dog skips a meal, then eats the next one. They seem a little off, then they're fine again. Their energy shifts. Their behavior feels different, but nothing is consistent enough to feel like a real problem. So you let it go because it doesn't feel big enough to question until it keeps happening. And now it's not just one thing, it's patterns you can't fully explain. They're eating, but not consistently. They're acting normal, but not quite. Something feels different, and you start noticing it more. You start paying attention, but you don't really have anything concrete to point to. So instead of acting on it, you second guess yourself. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe it's just a phase. Maybe it's nothing. And this is where it gets hard. Because when something feels off, but you can't prove it, you don't know what to do. I see this a lot. Dogs who are labeled as picky, dogs who have sensitive stomachs, dogs who are just weird with food. But when you look closer, it's not random. It's just subtle. I remember this with Fitz. There were stretches where he just wouldn't eat. Not for a day, but for multiple days. And it didn't make sense because nothing had changed. Same food, same routine, same environment. So I kept thinking, maybe he's just picky. Maybe he'll eat when he's hungry. But something about it still didn't feel right. And then there was Toby, who's always been extremely food motivated. Always. And suddenly, bloating, diarrhea, vomiting, refusing meals, things that had never been a part of his normal. Same food, same life, completely different responses. And that's the part that gets confusing because you're not changing anything, but your dog is. And that doesn't line up. So it's hard to connect to anything specific. There was a point where I realized this didn't feel behavioral. It didn't feel like preference. It felt like something underneath. And here's where I was getting it wrong. I was looking at food like it was either working or not working, based on the surface. Are they eating it? Are they not eating it? Instead of asking, how are they actually feeling when they eat it? Because when I started looking closer, the patterns were there. Fitz wasn't just skipping meals. He didn't feel good when he ate. Toby wasn't just having random stomach issues. His body was struggling. Same category of problem, completely different expression. And that's when it clicked. This wasn't about pickiness. It wasn't about inconsistency. This was about how their bodies were responding to what they were eating. For Fitz, finding out about the dust mite and storage mite sensitivity completely changed how I saw it. And for Toby, realizing he was dealing with pancreatitis shifted everything about how I approached food. And nothing about that was obvious in the beginning. It just looked like small things you could easily brush off. And that's why this gets missed so often, because it doesn't always look like a big problem. It looks like little inconsistencies, little shifts, little moments where your dog just feels off. And when you don't connect those things, it starts to feel random and unpredictable, like something you can't quite figure out. But it's not random. It's just not loud enough yet. If you have a dog that skips meals, dogs that eat inconsistently, dogs that have random digestive issues, dogs that feel differently day to day, dogs that seem fine until they're not. And it makes you question everything because you don't have a clear answer. So the question becomes, is this actually behavior or is this how my dog feels? If feeding your dogs has started to feel confusing or like you're constantly second guessing what you're doing, the dog food label decoder quiz will help you understand what actually matters and where to start. You'll find the link in the episode description. So be kind, spread joy, And remember, behavior changes often start long before they make sense.